Okay, so today guys, you're gonna make your crayons. When you're done, it's gonna look something like this. On my way back to the table, I picked up a sheet of skinny paper, some scissors, and a pencil, and you're gonna need all that stuff. You're also gonna find at your table our stencils, which we talked about. One looks like a crayon, one looks like an oval, and some crayons. You don't need to worry about the crayons yet because we're not worried about the crayons for this step. These stencils that you see at your tables, you're gonna have to share those with your table members, so make sure you're nice and polite about that. Now, your very first step, anytime you start an art project in here, is to put some information on the back of your artwork. One thing I need is your name. Another piece of information I need is your table number. So if you look way up above you, you'll see that table, and I write that right underneath my name. And then if you're in second grade, you're gonna look at the board and you'll see your teacher's name written up on the board, and you're also gonna write your teacher. First grade, you don't have to worry about that. So on the back, I have name, teacher, table. Now, I flip it over, and it's time to take my stencil and use my stencil. So I want you to use your stencil in the right way. People, this is not your artwork. Don't draw on it, okay? This is what we're using to make our artwork. That's why we're sharing them with our table. To use a stencil the right way, you want to make sure first to place it on your paper so that none of it is hanging off the edge. You want the whole entire thing to fit on there, and it fits on there just about right. After you place it on your paper, then you're gonna begin to trace it. I'll show you what that looks like. So I know that when I'm using a stencil, if I'm not holding down the stencil, it's gonna move around on me, and then I'm gonna get a shape that does not look like a crayon. So I need to use both hands when I do a stencil. So I have it placed on there right, and I'm holding the stencil down with one hand. I'm also thinking about where I put my hand. So notice that as I move my pencil, the hand that's holding down the stencil moves where my pencil is going. I wouldn't want to be holding up here while I'm trying to trace down here, because again, it's going to make it kind of a crazy edge. Remember, in art, we're not worried about making things perfect. We just want to do our best. So this might take a little practice, and it might not turn out perfect, and that is just fine as long as you are trying your best. So now, I have my crayon on there, but I notice I messed up on some parts, so I can take my eraser and just erase those areas out. After I get the shape of the overall crayon down, I'm gonna do the same process with the oval in the middle of my crayon. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, I have my crayon on there with my oval in the middle of my crayon. Next, I want you to think way back to kindergarten and all those good scissor skills that you practiced with your teacher. So you're gonna use your scissors and holding the paper in place, cut carefully around the edge until you've cut out your entire crayon. So now we're to the part of the project where we get to use our artist's brains. So I have something that looks like this, and it looks like a crayon, but I'm missing details. And to find details, artists use observation. So I'm gonna pick up a crayon, or I can even look at the crayon that I have up on the board there, and I'm really gonna think for a little bit about what I see and notice. So I notice some writing, I notice these little spots on the top and on the bottom. I even noticed that some crayons are different. They have different types of designs. Then I'm gonna take my observations and I'm gonna draw some of those details on my crayon. But here's the deal, guys. It doesn't have to look exactly like the crayons you see. These are only here, and that's only there to give you ideas. If you want to change some things up, or you want to leave some details out, or maybe even add details of your own, you totally can. But what I don't want you to do is draw on the inside of the oval right now. So I'm going to use this one as an example, and I really like this wavy line here. And I notice that that wavy line is inside of a bigger line. So I'm going to draw it something like that at the bottom. It's not exactly the same as that, and that's okay. I'm going to pick up another crayon. Ooh, this one is a little bit different. It has dots on the bottom. So I'm going to change it up a little bit, get crazy, and I'm going to do this design at the top of my crayon. So now I've added some details to my crayons. As a final step, and only if you have time, you can pick up one of these crayons and start coloring in your crayon. But remember, you're not coloring inside the circle. You can color anywhere else, just not inside of that oval yet.